At my son's birthday party, when laughter filled the house, my husband suddenly raised his glass and cleared his throat. With a cold smile, he announced in front of everyone, "I've decided to start a new life without my wife." The room froze. The cake knife almost slipped from my hand. His girlfriend, bold enough to attend, sat among our friends, smirking. For a moment, my heart stopped. 15 years of marriage, crushed in seconds. But instead of tears, a strange calmness washed over me. Because deep inside, I already knew this moment would come. And I was ready. The truth is, I had seen the warning signs months ago. Late night work calls. Sudden business trips. A perfume on his clothes that was not mine. At first, I convinced myself it was stress. He was tired. He needed space. But one night, while he claimed to be working late, I drove past his office. His car wasn't there. I followed my instincts and found him at a restaurant, laughing with a younger woman as if he'd never had a wife, never had a family. My heart cracked, but I didn't confront him. Not yet. Instead, I went home, sat alone in the dark, and promised myself, if he wants a new life, then I'll give him one. But it won't be the way he expects. From that night on, I changed. I became polite, calm, distant. He thought I was ignoring the truth, but in reality, I was gathering every piece of evidence. Text messages, call logs, bank transfers, I saved them all. Then I hired a lawyer. We worked quietly, step by step, building a case so strong that when the time came, he wouldn't even see it coming. I also secured our children's future. The savings were moved. The house was placed under my legal protection. Even his business investments, the ones I had helped build, were tied to my name. On the outside, I was still the quiet wife. But inside, I was turning into something stronger, a woman preparing for the storm. And then the storm came. It was my son's 12th birthday. Family, friends, neighbors. The house was filled with love and laughter. I wore my best smile, even though my heart was heavy. I had a feeling my husband was planning something dramatic. And I wasn't wrong. Halfway through the evening, he stood up and tapped his glass. The room fell silent. He looked around proudly and said, "I can't live a lie anymore. I've found someone who truly makes me happy. I'm leaving my wife." Gasps echoed. His girlfriend shifted in her chair, enjoying the spotlight. My son froze, confused. My friends looked at me with pity. I wanted to scream, to throw the cake in his face, to ask, "How could you destroy our family like this?" But instead, I smiled. Slowly, I walked toward him with a white envelope in my hand. I placed it on the table and said softly, but loud enough for everyone to hear, "Congratulations. Since you want a new life, here's a small gift." He smirked, thinking it was money. He tore it open in front of everyone. But inside were photos of him with his mistress, copies of text messages filled with lies, bank records of the money he secretly spent on her, and finally divorce papers signed by me. His smile disappeared. His hands trembled. The room was silent, waiting. I leaned closer and whispered, "You thought you would humiliate me today, but the only person destroyed here is you." His girlfriend's face turned pale. Friends who once admired him now looked at him with disgust. My lawyer, who was quietly present at the party, stood up and said, "Everything is legal and ready. The house, the savings, the business, all belong to her now." My husband's voice cracked as he shouted, "You planned this? You set me up." I looked him in the eyes and answered, "No. You set yourself up the day you betrayed me." He screamed, slammed his fist on the table, but no one listened anymore. His mistress stood and walked away, leaving him alone in front of everyone. I turned to my son, held his hand, and said, "Let's go. We don't need to stay here anymore." We walked out together, leaving him behind, broken, humiliated, powerless. That night, as I tucked my son into bed, he whispered, "Mom, are you okay?" I kissed his forehead and replied, "I'm more than okay, because today I showed you that no one has the right to break us, not even your father." From that day forward, I built a new life, not out of revenge, but out of freedom. Yes, he lost everything. Yes, he begged to return. But I had already closed that chapter forever. And the lesson I carried with me was simple. Silence is not weakness. Sometimes silence is the sharpest weapon. A woman who knows her worth doesn't beg for love. She makes love worthy of her. Moral of the story: betrayal hurts, but dignity, strength, and truth will always win in the end.